Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Daf Hayomi. We're going to start straight from the Mishnah at the top. So the Mishnah is discussing a case where someone sold his friend a field, the sodeh, and he told him, "I'm selling you the sodeh and all what's in it." Says the Mishnah, what's not included? Lo yasaber, not the water, not the pit of the water. V'lo yasagat, not where you make the wine. V'lo yasashoivach, not the birdhouse. Bein charevim, doesn't matter if they're in use. Bein yeshuvim, they're not in use. Bein yeshuvim, doesn't matter if they're in use. It's not part of the sale. Now, so we said that these things are not part of the sale. I mean, the seller keeps these things. How does he get to these things? Does he have a way or not? Says the Mishnah, same achloikes we had early on. Rabbi Akiva says that the seller has to go to the buyer and buy away from him to get his shoivach, to his gat, to his bor. He does not need to buy away because when he leaves for himself these things, it's obvious that he's keeping the path to get to them. And we explained already the machloikes is oyu moiche ba'ain yafo moiche or ba'ain ro moiche. Moide Rabbi Akiva agrees that he doesn't have to buy away. If he specifically said, "I'm selling you the field, and I'm not selling you the gat, I'm not selling you the shoivach, I'm not selling you the bur," he didn't need to add that. Why did you add that? He meant to say that I want to keep myself the way to get there. In such a case, says a Mishnah, Mochar Lacher, opposite case where someone has a field with a shoivach in it, or bor, a gas, etc., and he only sold the bor, he only sold the gat, he only sold the shoivach to someone else. Rav Akiva, because when someone sells be'ain yafo moicher, and therefore when he sold him the gat, it's included with the way to get there. The Chachomim, they hold that be'ain ro moicher, and therefore tzorach likach l'derech. After he bought the gat, now he has to pay for the way to get to the gat. When did we say all these things that are not included in the sale of the field? When he sold the field, that these things are not included b'moicher, when someone's selling to each other. Ava b'notan b'matona, if Reuben gave Shimon a matona, a field, and in that field there is all these things that we said that are not part of the sale, but here he gave out the present. Says the Mishnah, noisin is kula. Everything is part of the sale, of the matona, even the gat, even the shoivach, even the bor, etc. Says the Mishnah, Achim shecholku, brothers who are Yerushim, and they split, one takes this field and one takes this field, and in the field there was the shoivach, there was the gat, etc. So the Mishnah wants to know, do you need to do a kinyan on each thing separately? Says the Mishnah, Zocho basode, once they did a kinyan in the field, Zocho bekolo, they koina everything that's in it. And even though that we said that if you do a kinyan early on in a field and there's a meitza in between and you want to koina both fields on both sides of the meitza, you're not koina. Here, it's not considered, there's no meitza, and therefore you can be koina everything. A machzik b'nichse ger, someone who does chazaka in the nechosim of the ger. Sorry, what I said about the meitza was talking about the din of chazaka b'nichse ger. And machzik b'nichse ger, who passed away and has no yorshim, ichzik basode, and in the sode there's other things like a bur, like a gas, etc. Ichzik b'kulo, you're koina everything, and like what I said before, the difference is because there's no meitza in between. A makdish is asode, someone who said this field should be a hegdish. Hegdish is kulo, you magdish everything, all what's in it, even though that if I sell someone a field, it doesn't include the gas and the bor, etc. But when I magdish it, it does include everything. Rab Shimon argues. He said, "A magdish asad lo higdish, elo esacharu v'amurko v'esad nashukma." The bor, the gas, all those things are not mugdish, but the carob tree, even though it's a big carob tree, and the sycamore tree, even though it's a big sycamore tree, is part of Hegdesh, and the Gemara is going to explain us why they're different. But Reb Shimon Be'etzem holds that Hegdesh and Mechira is the same. Like when you Magdish, it's like when you sell something, it doesn't include these things. Also, when you Magdish, it doesn't include these things. Why Chorov Shikma and Sodon is included, we're going to see in the Gemara why that is. Says the Gemara, Maishno Mecho, Maishno Matono. What's the difference between a sale and a present? So Pirish Yehuda ben Nekusa lifnei Rebbe Yehuda, the son of Nekusa, explained in front of Rebbe. That Pirish, but the Pirish. One, when he sold, he explained what he's selling, and one didn't explain what he's selling. Said on that Gemara, what does that mean? Is that true that one did explain and one didn't explain? Who? They both said the same. One said, "I'm selling you this field," and one said, "I'm giving you this field as a present." So why are you saying the one is including the gat and the bor by matona and the other one not? Elo, says the Gemara, meaning when someone's selling, he's selling the bare minimum. He needs a cash, he's selling the bare minimum, so he doesn't have to explain to say, oh, when I'm selling you this field, I'm not selling you the shoivach. It's obvious. But someone who's giving a present, he's generous. He doesn't need to give a present, he's a generous. So the obvious is, if you're giving a field that has a shoivach in it, it's part of the field of the shoivach. So if you don't explain oyol elefarish, if you didn't say no, but the shoivach I'm not giving you as a present, we take on that you meant to give the shoivach together because you're a generous person, you're giving a present. Who someone said to people, Avulele plania, go give this person beta, this house I have, the machzik mea gulfi. This house that's so big that you could put in it 100 barrels of wine. Ashtakach, they went to the house to check. They have a machzik mev esrim. It could hold 120 barrels of wine. Omar Marzutra, Mer Omarle, mev esrim loy Omarle. He said 100. He never said 120, and therefore he should only get the part of the house that fits in 100, but the other 20 does not belong to the person who's getting the present. Ravashi Omar Milo Itnan, did we not learn in our Mishnah b'Medvar Mamurim b'Moicha? When are we saying that person is more stingy? Is when someone gives a present, when he sells, when someone gives a present, he gives the shoivach, he gives the bur, he gives the dus. Alma, what do we see from here? Man de'oiv matono, someone who gives a present, be'ayin yofa yoiv, he gives it with a nice, generous eye. Ochenami also over here, man de'oiv matono be'ayin yofa yoiv, and when he said 100 barrels, he thought he means to say a very big house that fits in 100 barrels. He never really measured to see how much it fits in. And if Ochenami fits in 120 barrels, even better, so he's giving even a bigger present. They didn't mean to limit the present to 100 barrel size. Said the Gemara. A Magdish is a soda Igdish, we said he's Magdish everything. Omar Avuna, Afal Gav Domar Abona Koinishte Ilono Isbitoish Chavera Rezelo Ikona Karka. If Reuven goes to Shimon, who has a field full of trees, and he buys off Shimon 2 trees, so the trees belong to him, but the land underneath it doesn't belong to him, meaning if the trees get old and die, he can't plant the new trees. But Mochar Karka, but if Shimon, who's the owner of the field together with the trees, and he sold the whole land, Veshir Shnei Ilonis Lifonov, and he left for himself 2 trees. So Yeshle Karka, he left 2 trees together with a Karka, meaning that if the trees fall down or die, he could replant them. Rabbi Akiva says a Gemara, that he gives in a generous way. So if he's selling and he's only leaving himself 2 trees, he's not leaving himself his field. Says the Gemara, Animili Gabi Boivadus. Over there, when he sold the house and he left himself the Boivadus, then he's behind Yofa and he's not keeping himself a path. The that if Boivadus don't make the land weaker. Avalilono is by trees, the Komakrish that they make the land weaker because they suck out nutrients. Says the Gemara in Aleph from base. If he's not going to leave someone who sells this field and leaves for himself 2 trees, if he's not leaving for himself the karka, lemele, the buyer is going to tell him once the trees dies, akoriloncho, take the wood, cut them out, shkoil, take it, vizil, and go. Don't plant a new tree here. So he doesn't want the person to tell him that, and that's why he leaves for himself a land, because he wants the ability to replant those trees if they die. Now, and we learned in our Mishnah, Rab Shimon Oima, Magdish is a soda, someone who's Magdish a soda lo Igdish, elo chorva murko v'soda nashikmo. He's Magdish only the field, and not all the things are included in the field, like Tanakama said, but the only thing that do include in the sale is a sycamore tree and the carob tree. The Tony alone, the Bryce itself on our Mishnah, Omar Rab Shimon, Matam, what's the reason that these things are Mugdish? Oil v'yoinkin misoda hegdish. The reason is that because a person's Magdishit, if he's going to leave himself the carob tree and the sycamore tree, he can't do anything with it because the land belongs to Hegdish, and these trees are sucking from the land of Hegdish, so they also Kaddish. He has no use for it. Therefore, we assume that he's also Magdish these trees. So we could see from here that Rab Shimon, who holds that Hegdish and Mechira is the same, when you're Magdish, you're not leaving yourself, even though you left the trees for yourself, you're not leaving the land. That's why he said that the trees are also Kaddish. So why do we say that if you sell a field and you leave 2 trees, you're leaving yourself land? Now we're going to see it inside. That he leaves himself at his land when he's leaving the trees to himself. Kiko Yanki, when these trees are your Magdish a field, they're sucking. They're sucking from his own land because he leaves himself the ground himself. So Elomai, we could see that a person doesn't leave himself a land. Says the Gemara, Rab Shimon d'Amar Rab Akiva, Rav Huna d'Amar Rabbanon. Says the Gemara, we said before that Rav Huna saying his din not only in Rabbanon, also in Rabbi Akiva. We say no. Rav Huna was also only talking about in the din of Rabbi in Chachamim in Rabbanon who hold a moiche be'ain ra moiche, and therefore he's selling and he's leaving 2 trees. He's be'ain ra. He's leaving himself also the land. And Mashenkin Rabbi Akiva who argues and says be'ain yafo moiche, he doesn't leave himself the land, and therefore Rab Shimon holds like Rabbi Akiva the be'ain yafo moiche, and therefore hekdesh and mechira is the same. So when you magdish a field, you're not leaving any land to yourself. So mimele these trees are sucking from hekdesh, so therefore mimele the trees are also hekdesh. Said the Gemara, Rabbanon were Rav Huna said this chiddush or Rabbanon pshita. What's the chiddush? Rabbanon said be'ain yafo moiche, so obviously leaves himself the land. So the Gemara nafgemina the chiddush of Rav Huna and Rabbanon is the nofle oda shatileu. If Rav Huna wouldn't tell you then, you'd think that you can't replant it. It's coming to tell you that the reason, you know why the person leaves for himself land, because if he wouldn't leave for himself land, if they die, you can't replant it, and because Rabbanon be'ain ra moiche, he's stingy, so he wants to keep these trees forever. Therefore, the only way he could do it is if he keeps himself land. So that's the chiddush of Rav Huna, that if Rabbanon, when someone sells a whole field and leaves for himself 2 trees, he keeps for himself the land underneath those two trees, so he could replant them in the future. Thank you very much.